Saturday the 25th saw St Philip's Church, Romsey Mill Road, hold an afternoon of appreciation and tribute to mark Vicar Stewart Taylor's retirement from his 30-year ministry at the church. Proceedings started with drinks on the lawn at the vicarage, and then people made their way over to the church to celebrate the long and enduring unique style that was their vicar.
But I remember some of my impressions when I met this young chap, Stewart, youngish, because Stewart and I are the same age. We're about the same height, and we both found our 11 plus. Although Stewart later did A-levels, which I didn't.
I first met you in 1977.
You're lying.
No. Listen, I'm going to take you back to that time in 1970. I think I first met you in before you came, because you came for an interview with my dad. My mum and dad are here, and normally it would be my dad who's up here speaking. And so there were two young men who were being interviewed for the curacy, and I got to kind of interview them too. And I was 16 years old, and the bishop had said to Dad, "You need to accept the other one, because he's had a rough ride, and I want him to be under your care, John." And so Dad was really under a lot of pressure to accept the other guy, and I still met both of them, and I'm like, "Dad, you've got to take Stewart. He's the one for this parish. You've got to take Stewart." Apparently I jumped up and down and said, "Don't you dare take the other one." But he knew. Dad said the Holy Spirit spoke to him and said, "Stewart is the one."
He said, "You mustn't tell them all those stories." Listen, so Sophie's actually giving you that 2 minutes, but actually Deacon Joy was talking about your cooking, but I won't get to that way. I've known Stewart. I'm going to keep this really short, but anyone wants to know the inside, just come and see me afterwards. I can tell you. So I've known Stewart since 1977. That's a long time, isn't it?
But I've just been very moved by the tributes, because I remember when Stewart left Emmanuel Church, there was a similar gathering to this, with wonderful things said about him. And when he left, I checked the registry of all the services, and during Stewart's ministry, the services, Easter, Christmas, were the highest level we'd ever had in that church.
I respected Stewart and the way he supported me as a lay minister over all these years, and Roy Bradfield too, who can't be here today.
So I am standing here actually on behalf of all of the people who you have encouraged, discipled and nurtured in their vocations. So many people through St Philip's have gone on to ordained ministry, and so many more through finding their lay vocations as well. And so we just wanted to say a big thank you. Stewart was so generous and gracious and trusting in letting anybody and everybody have a go up front and stand here and have a go at leading or preaching or just being on this stage. And I have to say, I don't think I've worked with anybody who has been more generous in that and gracious in just being able to share that stage and the limelight that you get as a vicar. But you have been so encouraging and trusting of all of us. And I know lots of people who are in youth groups would say that especially, that from whatever age, you would just always encourage people. And it allowed us to begin to explore that tentative call that God is putting on our lives, and that meant so much to us. So thank you for that.
There were also lots of pre-recorded video messages for Stewart.
Neil.
Good afternoon, everyone. Oh, it's so lovely to be here. When Sophie spoke to me and said, would I share just a few words this afternoon, it was my joy to say yes. I said I'd find some photographs of Stewart. I'd go through the Romsey Mill archive and I'd find some photographs. And I looked through all the photographs, and I could only find one photograph of Stewart. I'm not even sure it is Stewart, so I'm just going to walk over and see if Sarah can verify. Perhaps, the reason I can only find one photograph, perhaps that's an indication of just how self-effacing Stewart is. He doesn't like the limelight. As we've heard, he wants other people to step up and come to the front. So perhaps that, or maybe he's got an aversion to having a photograph taken.
Your job is you. And therefore, it seems like an extra big occasion and a huge milestone. And therefore, it's a real privilege to be talking today about you and how wonderful I think you are. Don't start, because I'll start, or I'll start and you'll start. So, some people may cheekily say of a vicar, you only work on Sundays, right? Well, I can vouch that's 100% not true.
Of his word in word and in deed. And please, Sarah, if you accept these.
So thank you so much for all those who've given towards that.
Some of you might be feeling a bit uneasy about being part of St Philip's without Stewart at the helm, having been driving the ship, if you like, for the last 30 years. I'm feeling that too as I go, because he's been piloting the ship, or whatever the word is, for the last 40 years for me, having moved and become the curate at the church where I was as a teenager. And just to fill you in a little bit about that, when he first arrived, I don't remember much about him other than the fact that he came around to my house quite a lot, and I think I found him quite irritating. But that changed.
But actually, Sarah's been my right-hand woman for all these years, and she's had to put up with an awful lot. So thank you, Sarah, for sharing that with me. And if you look at the colour of the ceiling and the walls, what colour is it? White. What's it called? No, it's not called white. It's called timeless. Timeless. I always thought that was a wonder. That's why I picked it, by the way, because it said timeless. And I thought there's something about God about this, even in the colour of the paints. So.
Can we just say thanks to Barry Ginger, who's our brilliant chef.
It's been really wonderful to bring together the events of today, and that's partly because I've had the joy of my inbox being filled with all your wonderful messages about Stewart and Sarah's ministry here. It's an absolute privilege to just have seen how they have touched and affected all your lives. So it's just wonderful to be able to share in this day, and it's been a real privilege.
Actually, I've been here for 30 years, so it's going to be quite hard. I've been part of the community of Romsey Town, and so it's going to be a big miss. And I'll miss people. I'll miss seeing people on the road, by the bus stop, in the cafe, here in the building here. So it's going to be quite a big miss, really, in the streets. I love being part of Romsey. I'll miss it.
What do you think you'll be moving on to?
What I'm moving on to? I actually don't know what the future is going to be. But one thing I've learned about being a Christian is I've got to take each day as it comes and trust that the Lord will guide us. So even though I don't know quite what it will be, I know where we're moving to and we'll get settled in. But in terms of exactly what's going to happen, it's a bit like being here over the 30 years. We've worked it out as we've gone along, and God has led us, and it's created new things and opportunities, seeing people. Yeah, I'm not going that far away, so you'll see me around maybe. If you do see me, anybody, you can say hello to me. The Church of England, they work by having a gap of interregnum. So after I've gone, there will be a time that nobody's coming, and then probably a year, somebody will be appointed in this next year, and they will come and take over. And they won't be like me. Hopefully they'll have a new ministry and God will bless them as well. Yes, I will still enjoy doing some of the things, tennis being one of them. So if you play tennis, I play tennis. I love a game of tennis. Serve the Lord.
Great. Good. All the best.
Okay.